In society, people feel that sometimes they have a hard time, they have a problems, and etc. And finally, a narration of resilience comes up with a hope that individuals will stand with it as to motivate them as to their stance, and eventually this get promoted on the society for people that this is an ability and to get the glorification of it. Before I move on, I will tell you the definition first, that what is the resilience itself. Resilience itself means that it refers to an ability of individuals to A, endure hardship, B, adapt to adversity, and C, bounce back from difficult circumstances, and etc. And it is often promoted in education, workplaces, and public policy as a desirable personal trait linked to success and emotional strength. And what is the glorification itself? The glorification of resilience means that after this ability narration comes up, people share it everywhere, and this has become the glorification itself. It has been glorified from the society that this is the kind of good emotional strength that someone will have. As the proposition team, I would proudly stand that the first one. Proposition team doesn't reject this existence of resilience ability, but secondly, we regret the glorification of this narration. Our goal is to the proposition team wants what's best on the society and individuals and the actual meaning they could get. And what I'm going to do in my speech is that the first one, I will prove why the glorification of resilience should be regretted, and the second one, why this is worthy to be justified. Okay, next to my first argument is about the status quo. We could see just that the status quo is that this resilience narration has been promoted to people, making them assuming that this is the best way to manage your emotional strength. People tend to feel like this resilience ability is the desirable personal trait that someone wants to achieve, making an assumption in the society that a desirable personal trait and a nice one. So this is mean that if someone did have this ability, then they are cool, they are okay to be respected, they are high, they are okay to be glorified, and etc. When the people not, then they are not. And I'm going to give you two types of people. The first one is that someone who has already achieved and have this resilience ability on their regular life, on their own social life, their individual life. They are used to it. Like the example is that I was being tough on parenting, so I think the ability to bounce back from difficult circumstances is okay for me because I'm used to it, and etc. They will get praised by the society because why? Because the narration of resilience ability itself gets glorified on society. And the second one is that someone who sees resilience as their desirable ability, they don't have it, but they at least will try to achieve it regardless of if they feel pressured or not, or if they won't feel any actual meaning behind it. They will at least like, oh, the resilience ability is good and I have to act like it. Okay, secondly, people tend to be modern now, so they have their own perspective and etc. Where if someone has a problem of their personal trait, people will tend to understand them, taking on what's wrong, because now society has become modern. So if someone has like, I cannot do this resilience ability because I am a sensitive person and I will feel like this A, B, C, or D. At least first they will get okay by their society perspective, and the second one, it would be okay because people tend to be modern now, and the third one, it would be exclusive on our side because at least we do regret this clarification of resilience itself, and it should be gone because this clarification don't do that. Okay. Next to my second argument is that why this is worthy to be justified. Okay, first layer, I'm going to bring you in the principle of experience versus meaning. By this context, every individual will look for a real meaning of their personality regardless of what is their experience, of what they have been through, and every individual have their own perspective of what's meaningful for them and what's not. So if maybe an individual have like okay, I have a difficult problems and I would tend to follow this resilience that individuals have to endure hardship and etc. But okay, at least they feel the experience of that, they feel that okay, they can endure hard circumstances and etc. But they do not have the at least the meaning left behind it on why they should do that, on what would be their progress to even reach it on the first place, because they only tend to look on what's good in the society itself, because the resilience ability has been linked to success and emotional strength. So people would feel that if I want to do my management emotional good, then I have to use this ability, and this is glorified by people, so I have to follow it and etc. And not why about what they will do as their meaning itself. And secondly, this has been the desirable personal trait, and this gets glorified, while people tend to just follow, like I said, what seems nice on the society. Okay, maybe judge at first, they can try to follow, they would have the process to do this. That would be what the opposition team would say, that at least they will try to adapt to disability of individuals to endure hardship, adapt to adversity, and etc. But they won't tend to look what's the meaning behind it, because they don't have this process or finding this on their own, but they only tend to look on what's good on the society itself by their perspective, and this is what judge people not by their perspective itself. And later on, whether this means to the individual itself, where it's being exclusive on our side, while at least the two types of people, the first one that already achieved this, it would be okay because they are used to it, and the second one, people who don't have this resilience ability, would be okay to find out their perspective on their own itself. And this is why it's being exclusive on our side, because at least both sides get respected. Okay, and second layer, when people feel pressured, they would follow this resilience ability, and after that, the experience they feel would have no meaning, because they just tend to look, oh, this is the desirable personality, not the actual meaning of how should I act, how should I solve my problems. So, like I said before, this would mean that if someone gets a problem, they should tend to, oh, what's best on the society is that I have that was been glorified is that I have to follow this resilience ability, that I have to adapt to adversity, bounce back from difficult circumstances, while it's actively being back to the individual itself. So if they at first they cannot endure hardship, and then later on they will have the progress itself, so at least adapt to their personal problems, so then it would be okay, and people would tend to have the better meaning on our side, because at least they do not only experience the problem itself, but what is an actual meaning behind it, like, oh, I get this problem, so I should solve this problem this way, and the way that my problems give a meaning for me, it's what I have meaning, because we cannot judge someone's mean by only one side, because everyone has their own perspective of what's meaningful for them and what's not. Okay, continuing on, if the opposition says that at least people will try to act like this resilience personality on what's glorified in the society itself, but judge, I will solve the flaws of this argument of opposition is that this would be a glorification where people on society would praise someone who did it, and what if someone doesn't actually have this ability, because at least on my side, they will try to achieve what is their meaning behind it on their own, so the way they can solve problems and etc. is based on the meaning and how everyone would move itself, not by this narration. And the second one, I would say that this is not being exclusive on the individual itself, because like what I have said earlier, at least the two types of people that they have been using this ability and someone who haven't used this, they all will be okay and matters, because at least on my society it would be being exclusive, because at least if you have already achieved it, then you will be okay, and if you don't have already achieved it, it's okay, you can look your own meaning. And this is why proud to propose. Thank you.